everyone, it's Kim. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm bringing you a new recipe, and this recipe is a ham and cheese frittata, compliments of my friend Lisa. And she's been making this for quite a while now, and it's absolutely amazing. I'm telling you right now, it tastes like something you would get at a fancy restaurant. It is that good. So the recipe comes out to be 3 SmartPoints per serving, and I'll put all the information, of course, down in the comments. And with that said, I'm gonna get my counter cleaned off back here, and we'll go ahead and get this recipe started. I hope that you're as excited as I am, because I'm telling you right now, every time she makes it, it's absolutely amazing. I'm going to attempt to do her proud because of the fact that she does make hers on the stove and then finishes it off in the oven. I am going to just make mine in the oven because every single time I've tried to make a frittata on the stove, I don't know about you, but I can't get the timing right, and I always seem to get the bottom way too brown. So I'm going to do my tried and true method. I'm gonna put it in the oven, and with that said, I'm gonna jump off of here, get this counter cleaned up, and let's go ahead and get started. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and get this started. I'm gonna go over my ingredients quickly, and then we will just go through and start putting this recipe together. So the original recipe came from Michael Simon's 5 and 5 for Every Season cookbook. And we've made a couple of modifications to it. I mean, when I say we, I mean Lisa. So we're going to use 1 scallion, a tablespoon of either whipped salted butter, or I only have unsalted butter, so I'm just going to use that and add some salt. 2 ounces of Gruyere cheese. I know I'm butchering that, but here, I'll just show you what that looks like here. 8 eggs, and then 3 ounces of diced ham. So I'm going to kick mine up to 10 eggs just to make bigger portions. And I tend to do that all the time with my recipes. And I have leftover spiral ham, so I'm gonna go ahead and measure out 2 ounces of that, chop that up, and just use that, because I don't know about you, but sometimes I have a hard time using up my diced ham, and it just goes in a soup or something. So I'm really excited to have another reason to use up my ham. Plus, I'm gonna go ahead and, after I finish filming, I'm gonna go ahead and, I said that twice, measure out 3 ounce portions and put it into a bag so that when I get ready to make this next time, I don't have to worry about purchasing the ham. So there, we said it twice. All right, so let's go ahead and get our leeks started. I'm gonna grab a cutting board. Now, if you've never used a leek, this is how it was explained to me. I'm gonna grab another visual out here for us. Leeks look just like green onions, just a whole lot bigger. Check them out. So these are the leeks. From what I understand, they are really dirty. So when you cut them up, you have to make sure you clean them properly. So we're just gonna go ahead and do that on camera. I did watch a couple of videos to make sure that I didn't really mess this one up, because I was really worried about doing that. Okay, I just fixed our angle a little bit here to make sure that we're getting a good view on the camera. There's nothing worse than watching a video and things get off camera and you have no idea what's happening with that. I did that a time or two with some of my earlier videos, and I try really hard not to do that now. So I'm gonna grab a knife, and it says to cut the green part off. So I'm gonna set that aside. Cut the end off, which is just this little piece here. I'm just gonna toss that in my sink. And then it says to cut it in half. They're kind of rubbery. Slice it in half from here. Slice it in half from here. And then start chopping it. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and get this chopped. I'm gonna throw it into a bowl. I'm gonna rinse it to make sure that I don't have any dirt. And it says after you rinse it, well, I guess I'll talk about that when I get there. So let's just go ahead and start chopping. And I know my hand is in the way. We need to try to chop this way. It's really hard with the different angles of the camera. And it's really easy to chop. I mean, it wasn't hard at all to get your knife to run through that. Let's see if I can do it again. My knife skills are not the best. So if you're looking to learn knife skills, definitely do not take direction from me because I don't think I'm that great at it. All right, so we've got that. Doesn't look a whole lot dirty, but from what I understand, it's kind of deceiving. So we're gonna go ahead and throw that into a bowl. And I'm telling you, since I cleaned out that cabinet with my bowls and stuff in it, so much easier to pull things out and find things. So glad I did that. All right, so we've got that. I'm gonna go ahead and throw some water in here. And if you've not watched my videos before, I always suggest before you start meal prepping or cooking something to go ahead and fill your sink up with soapy water or fill a dishpan up with soapy water so that you can continually just toss things in there. And what's gonna happen is that's going to soak and nothing's really gonna stick to your dishes, and then it's gonna make cleanup so much easier. Okay, the next thing we're gonna do is we're going to grab our food scale, and I'm gonna start measuring out 3 ounces of ham. So let me know in the comments below. I was thinking about just shooting a quick little video about my food scale, about how I use it and how the different settings work. I'm by no means an expert on it, but I have learned how to function it, and I think I could show you some simple functionality. So let me know in the comments if that's something you would be interested in, and I'll go ahead and add that to some of my video ideas. So go ahead and rinse off my cutting board so I have somewhere to work with for this. So hard to work with cold ham. All right, maybe that'll be enough. We'll see. All right, so I have just a plate here so that I can start measuring out 3 ounces. Try to pull some of the fat off there, but I did put it in my tracker for spiral ham, so I'm hoping that it accommodates for a little bit of that extra. This is where it gets tricky when you're trying to get right at your 3 ounces. All right, there we go. 3 ounces on the nose. So I'm gonna throw this back in my bag. I will work on that later. It's so funny when you walk away sometimes. Oh, now I see what happened. A piece fell on the scale. That's so funny. Throw that piece back on there. All right, close enough. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to wash our hands because they're all crazy with the ham. I bought one of those automatic soap dispensers last year so that it's the touchless ones. If I think about it, I'll try to take a picture and put it in here on the video. But I'll tell you one thing, one of the best investments I've made, because of the fact that it's nice when you're working on things like this and you really don't want to touch your soap dispenser. Now with my sink, I can just kind of use my elbow to turn the sink on. It's a crapshoot as to what the temperature will be, but at least I can turn it on that way, and then I don't have to touch my soap dispenser and get that all icky with whatever is in my hands. So always nice to have something, you know, have the tools in your kitchen that help make your life easier. All right, so we have our 3 ounces. We'll get that chopped in just a second. Gonna go ahead and get my eggs. Got a bowl over here. Get my eggs cracked. Checking my camera angle. Realized I had my sink in the wrong position. I try to get through this pretty quick. And I always think maybe I should do this off camera, but then I think that what happens is you don't get the reality of how long this really takes to do. And sometimes I like to see that. I like to see how long it takes. I mean, I understand cutting the baking part out, but I think it's good to see exactly how long it takes to do things and do the upfront prep. All right, I'm gonna take a break here real quick and I'm gonna get this cheese unwrapped. I'm gonna wipe down my counters because I do have egg stuff on it and that's gonna bug me. So I'm gonna use some Clorox wipes, get that off there, and then I'll be right back. Okay, that's kind of funny. I was just saying I wasn't going to cut hardly anything out of this, and then I cut stuff out. So anyway, I have my cheese open. I wasn't sure how difficult that would be because I don't normally buy cheese like that. So I've got my cheese open. I took just a stick of butter out of the container, and that's all I did. I just took it, you know, maybe a minute or two, and then I cleaned up my counter because again, that was going to bug the, you know, it was going to bug me. So we're going to grab our scale back out. I'm going to measure out 2 ounces of cheese. The block that I have here is 8 ounces. That's 1.5 ounces so far. .9, 206. All right, it's 203. I'm going to call that close enough. And then I'll put this cheese away when we get this in the oven. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to chop up our ham. I think that probably will be the most logical thing to do next. And I do want this ham going all the way through my frittata. So I'm going to chop this up in just little tiny chunks. Now, if you want to take just a little time-saving tip, you can also use, I think it's called Cumberland Gap, sells the ham already diced. And I think it comes in an 8-ounce portion, so that would also work too. All right, so we've got that done. Give my hands a quick little swish. And set that off to the side. I'm going to go ahead and pull out my leeks. And it says to make sure that you just scoop them out. So I'm just going to scoop them out with my hands. I think that's the easiest way. Hopefully you're getting that. And then what I'll do is I will take a picture of what's left in the bowl. So you can see there was dirt in there. So good to know. I'll just set that off to the side and we'll leave that in there. And again, I'll just take a picture so you can see it. Okay, the next thing we're gonna do is we have our cheese. Gonna go ahead and pull out my food processor. Now I was going to shred this, and as I have been changing things up in my kitchen lately, what's happened is, oh, you know what, I might just chop that. I have a shredder disc on my larger food processor. I didn't want to pull that out, and I can't find, you know, that hand grater thing. I can't find that right now either. But I think we might just be able to chop this. Just finely enough to use it on top of the frittata. So I'm gonna go ahead and try that first. I think that'll work. I'm afraid if I put it in my food processor that it might, I don't know, it might stick or get all gooey in there, and I just don't want to take a chance on that happening. But I think this will work. It's gonna melt anyway, but I think if we can get it just chopped. Yeah, I think that this actually might be the better method. Awesome. I like when things work out when you're not sure if they're gonna work out. Just chop this up real quick. And then we're gonna go ahead and get this recipe pulled together. It's taking a little longer than I thought it would. I just think it's because I just was not coordinated this morning. For one, I'm hungry. And I think that in itself, and again, it's a new recipe. Every time you try something new, it is going to take a little while to get used to it. So, okay, there. I think that's good. Scoot this back on its plate so it's ready when we're ready. Don't spill the cheese on your counter, because you definitely want to get all 2 ounces of that. Good thing I just cleaned those counters off, right? All right, so that's done. Set that off to the side. And we're going to change positions, move over to my stove, and go ahead and pull this together and get this in the oven. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna drop in 1 tablespoon of that butter. And again, that is the unsalted butter. And I'm gonna add salt to the pan once I get the leeks in there. We're just gonna go ahead and get that melted a little bit. You guys notice I'm using my favorite pans. Again, not sponsored, just love them. All right, got that in there. And I'm gonna go ahead and add the leeks. And we're just gonna cook those just for a few minutes to get those a little soft. Aren't these the cutest? I found these on Amazon. Hopefully you can see those. I just think they're so stinking cute. My old wooden spoons were a little bit stained, so I went looking for something new and found these, I don't know, a couple of months ago. And I just really like them. Alright, so we're going to leave that alone for a few minutes and let it do its thing. Guess I should add the salt in there now, just in case. I don't know what it is about butter, but it smells so good when you're using it. It's totally different than if you're using margarine. All right, so they seem a little wilted. I think they're good. So I'm gonna go ahead and bring my other pan over here. I'm gonna change our angle and we'll start throwing this together. Okay, so the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and spray my dish to make sure that we don't have anything stick. I'm gonna go ahead and put my leeks in here. They started to brown a little bit. I definitely wanted to get them out before that happened. So go ahead and spread those around. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I have those 10 eggs. I just beat them in a bowl. So I'm just going to go ahead and pour those in. Just make sure that the leeks are covered. Go ahead and throw in that ham. Just try to evenly distribute that throughout the pan. Okay. And then what I'm going to do now is double check the ingredients, because you know I've done that before. I went to do something and then realized I forgot to put something in. So we have the leeks, the butter, the cheese, which we're going to add in at the end, eggs, and the ham. All right, so I think we're good. So I'm going to go ahead and throw this in a 375-degree oven, which I already had preheated. And then we're going to let that cook for about, I don't know, 15 or 20 minutes, and then I'll double check it. And after, you know, just as soon as it starts getting done, then I will add the cheese, and of course I'll come back on and I'll film that. So stay tuned, we'll continue on with the recipe. Okay, here's the easiest way for me to show you my soap dispenser. So this is what it looks like. And anything I really like a lot, I always try to put it in my Amazon link so it's easier for you to find. And I think this is like Kitchen Finds or Kitchenware or something. So if you're interested in getting one of these, again, not sponsored, just a product that I really love. So watch. Anytime you put something underneath it. And I didn't even catch it, look. I'll have to clean that up. All right, so see how easy that is? I mean, it's so much easier than having to, again, touch it all the time. And I just put liquid dish soap in it. And you can vary the amount that you have it dispensed. So again, I like it, so that's enough of that. So that's my soap dispenser. Okay, it's been almost 15 minutes, so I'm just gonna go ahead and look in and check to see how it's coming along. I think it's looking pretty good. So I'm gonna let that go probably another, I don't know, 5 minutes. I think I'm gonna flip it around, do another 5 minutes, and then we'll pop it out and put the cheese on it. So hang tight. Okay, we're gonna pull this out and get the cheese on. It's starting to puff up a little bit more, hopefully. That's a, how's that? All right, so we're just going to sprinkle the cheese on. All right, I was worried that wasn't going to be enough because I changed the size of the pan that Lisa normally uses, but I think that's going to do well. All right, we're going to get this back in the oven. And get the cheese all melted. Okay, we've just pulled that out of the oven. I'm gonna try to zoom in a little bit more. Sorry about the shakiness. So I would definitely do the shredding of the cheese next time because I think that way it would be a little prettier, but it's still gonna taste the same. So I'm gonna go ahead and let this cool off. I'll plate it up and snap a couple of pictures, and then I am going to enjoy my breakfast. So thanks for coming along, and I may even be able to cut this one into 6 since I used a couple extra eggs. But we'll see. We'll see how it looks a little thin, so maybe I'll leave it at 4, but I think this is going to be absolutely fabulous. Lisa, thanks again for always sharing your fun, delicious recipes. This one is just out of this world. So then again, if you were looking for that fancy restaurant frittata, make this recipe. It is just amazing. All right, with that said, signing off. Thanks for watching. Thanks for coming along. If you're not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel. So then again, if you're not subscribed to my channel, please remember to hit the subscribe button below. And if you want to be notified when I'm when I'm creating new recipes and new videos, please click that notification bell so that you can be notified when I upload a new video. And again, feel free to share, like, comment. I love hearing your comments on the videos. And again, with that said, signing off. This smells delicious. I'm going to eat. So see you next time. Bye.